on, Kevin? First off, great start on the double snatching. That's a very, very good foundation to go for. But as Ron Jones mentioned in your clip, you're not getting that extension from your shoulder that you should get. And that's very common when you switch over to double bell maneuvers, because limitations in shoulder extension and T-spine mobility will show up once you transfer over into that bilateral movement. So what we're going to start off with are some simple drills, some that you may be familiar with, some that you may not be familiar with, that are going to help you regain some of that shoulder extension. So the very first drill we're going to go with is something that you actually just went over at your level 1 SFG, and that is your normal and traditional SFG armbar. And just to kind of review, because they did go over it rather quickly at the certification, you start off just like a get-up. Okay? 2 hands on the bell, you roll over. You want to get your body into a perfect sideline. So you want your heel, your hip, and your arm to form a perfect line. You then use your left leg and push yourself over onto your right side. Okay? Again, here you want to make sure that you're in a perfect sideline, so make the adjustments that you need to in order to get your head in a comfortable position and to make sure your body's forming a straight line. From here, slightly externally rotate the bell, pack the shoulder down. Start to straighten your leg out and pump your hip into the ground. As you gain some mobility, you can then start working your right hand back further to get your head on the ground. From here, you continue to pump your hip. Keep packing that shoulder and keep that bell vertical. Okay? Once you're done, bring that leg back up. Slowly roll yourself onto your back. With 2 hands, come down, pull. Okay. Our next drill is a shoulder extension, T-spine extension drill. All you'll need is either a pull-up bar or a heavy barbell or any fixed object that's going to allow you to grab onto with 2 hands. Okay. Grab the bar with 2 hands, roughly shoulder width apart. You're then going to push your hips back, pack your shoulders, and allow your chest to come through. Okay? You'll use those breathing drills that we picked up at the SFG. You'll breathe in, tense up slightly. Breathe out, allow your chest to sag. The whole time you want to maintain a neutral back. Don't let your tail tuck underneath. Keep your back nice and neutral. And with each breath, try to sink a little deeper. It goes without saying that you should be keeping your shoulder packed in order to keep it safe. All those other drills, now it's time to kind of start building our shoulder mobility in a position that that more closely mimics the actual movement. So what we'll do is we'll take a very light kettlebell, we'll snatch it up. Okay? We position our arm perfectly vertical. Okay? From here, I want you to really focus on tucking those hips underneath and make sure that everything's nice and stacked. We don't want to get any extension through our lumbar. We want to pack those shoulders nice and tight. Really sink that shoulder down, tuck the hips underneath, and using your breath again, breathe in deep, breathe out, and push your chest forward. The whole time you're pushing your chest forward, you're making sure that you really keep those hips tucked, you keep those glutes tight, and you don't get any of that extension from your lumbar. You're just getting it purely from your T-spine and from your shoulder. Okay. Only progress to this variation of the last stretch until you've really mastered the last one and gotten full extension from your shoulders. Okay? From here, clean, press up 2 bells, very light. I'm using 12 kilos for myself. Press them up, lock in that lumbar, tighten up those glutes, pull up the kneecaps, finish like it's a swing. From here, sink your shoulders down into their sockets, take a breath, push your chest forward. Do a few reps, pull them down. Other than the mobility restrictions that we saw in your video, The only really technical flaw you had is that you were allowing the bells to travel too far away from your body. Okay? That's okay with light bells, like the double 20s that you were using, but once you get to the 24s and 28s for someone of your strength level, those bells won't go overhead. So what you want to focus on doing is keeping the angle of your body more at a 45 degrees, and as you come up, keep your triceps touching your ribs as long as possible so that you create the shortest arc possible to get those bells overhead. Okay? It looks something like this. By keeping that nice tight arc, you're going to be able to get heavier weights overhead. My PR on the double snatch is double 28s at 137 pounds body weight. So if someone that's much stronger than me like yourself will be able to get really heavy weights once you groove that nice tight arc. Hope this stuff helps, and look forward to your feedback.